I've been using Ricoh GR3x for a year now, and I think it was a perfect place to talk about that because the first time I really used it was in Brussels, and I am in Brussels right now. So 5 things that I like about Ricoh GR and why it has been the best camera for me for street photography for a year. And there is one thing that I don't like that much. Hi, it's Peter here, and let's get right into the business. And a quick disclaimer, this camera is mine and Ricoh has nothing to do with this video. I just wanted to make it because I've been using it for 1 year and wanted to share my experience and what other things that I like. And the biggest thing is the form factor. It is the biggest reason I really like this, because I can fit it in my pocket, I can have it like this, just a wrist strap around the wrist, and of course when photographing this I can be kind of invisible. People don't get intimidated by a big camera because this is so small, and you know, it's also about the safety thing, and that's something that I've been thinking about lately because of my experience in Istanbul. I have a video over there if you're more interested in that than hearing about Ricoh GR3x and why that camera is such a good camera for me. The second reason is the focal length. This has the 26mm lens and it's an APS-C sensor, so it's an equivalent of, what was that? Maybe a 40mm lens, and I think that's a perfect focal length for street photography. There is a version, GR3, that has a 28mm lens, and to be honest, sometimes I have wanted to be a little bit wider, so a 28mm with a 40MP sensor. I hope you're listening to this Ricoh GR4 could be a 40MP camera with a 28mm lens, and then with the crop modes. I will talk about the crop modes when I talk about the features. But yes, the 40mm lens has proved to be the best focal length for me for street photography. It's a good compromise between a wide angle and a standard lens. I find the standard lens to be slightly too narrow, and then I'm not really used to that wide angle lenses, so this is a nice compromise. And then what I like about it is the usability. It's very customizable. There are a few customizable buttons that I can customize the way I want them to be customized, so you can make this camera to your own. It's, to be honest, it's just a little bit too small to my hand, but I've managed to use it quite okay, and it's pretty firm. What I've added is a thumb grip that goes to the hot shoe of the camera, and this is from squarehood.se. It's a Swedish company that made this. I also have a lens hood for this, but it's not on right now because with the lens hood it doesn't fit in the pocket, and that's something that is of course part of the usability, that I can just fit it in my pocket and it's not visible and doesn't scream like an expensive camera. I just saw something. I have to go. I have to pause the video and go there. I did not know that there was Elliot Erwitt Retrospektive. This is mind-blowing to see these. I've never seen his work printed, of course in books, but not in real life. Yeah, that was a great exhibition, a little overwhelming, but Elliot Erwitt was a very famous street photographer too. He did a lot of commercial work and some portraits of politicians and stuff like that, but the street photography he made was really unique. The features, it has tons and tons of features for street photographers, and what I really like is the kind of like the zone focusing system that you have, the snap focus. I press a button in the back and it will be focused to 3.5 meters, and I always tend to stop down anyways, so it's very fast to focus that way. Just point your camera where you're going to photograph and everything will be, practically everything will be in focus, so you won't miss the focus. And I tend to stop down anyways, so it doesn't matter. That's why I have f8 most of the time. And then there are the crop mode, for example. I can press this button here on the side, and what happens is that it goes from 40mm to 50mm, and then it goes to 71 and back to 40. So there are kind of like 3 lenses, well, lenses in a way. I tend to use 40mm the most, but sometimes I need to crop and get a little closer. Of course it will throw away a few pixels and the images are not that big in size, but it doesn't really matter because if I need, I can always upscale the image if I need those pixels. And then of course the film simulations is something that I have used not that much, but a little bit, and it's a camera that I can use JPEG and shoot only JPEG if I want. I mainly use RAW, but the possibility to use JPEG and have film simulations and make my own recipes is really great, and that's also something that I really enjoy. And if you're interested in how I've set up my camera, just take a look at that video, and there's also a PDF that you can download from Gumroad if you don't want to stop your video every time there is a setting. But that's my setting, and of course that's only a starting point for my settings. You might want to change something that suits your shooting style better. And then what about the image quality? That's always when you have a camera, you're interested in the image quality, if it's good enough. It's a APS-C sensor, and yes, there are probably cameras that have a lot better image quality, but I can get with this quality images, which is more important for me. I'm not saying that the image quality itself is bad, but of course a bigger sensor would be probably better. I'm not sure, but with a bigger camera I probably wouldn't get the photographs that I can get with this because of the form factor I was talking earlier, and the focal length is just perfect. So it's not always about how good the image quality is. If you never even get the image because of a big bulky camera with a huge sensor, what do you do with the image quality? Of course I don't use this in my professional work when I take corporate portraits. I use my Fuji for that because that's a lot better for that. So it's always, when we talk about image quality, it's you have to think what you're doing and what the camera is for. Is it for professional work? Is it for big prints? Is it for whatnot? With this street camera I can get the shots that I need for my street photography. And then the thing that I don't like about this camera is that the battery life is not that great. I only get like a 200 shots with one battery, which is, well, I think it's still little, and that's something that, I don't know if something wrong with the camera or what's the problem, but that's how it is. So a little bit better battery life would be cool. I do have 3 batteries, and of course this can be charged from the USB-C port, and I do have a small charger with me when I travel, so it's not a big problem, but still, you know, switching the batteries midday and, you know, all that, it's something that I don't like. And then the second thing is that it doesn't have an EVF. Yes, that is a slight downside on this camera. On the other hand, if it did, then it would be a lot bigger most likely, so I'm quite happy with it, but I'm kind of used to using the EVF, so getting used to using the LCD has been a little bit of a thing for me. But other than that, I don't see any flaws on this, so not much to improve for the version 4. Yeah, it is the mannequin piece behind there, and there's a funny statue over there too, with, as you can see what it does from this photograph. And now that it's about to rain a little bit, I realized that I forgot to say something about the things that I don't like. I would prefer a camera that is weather sealed, so that a little rain doesn't matter, because, you know, rainy weather is a good time to photograph, and when you have a camera that's not that durable when it comes to water and rain, yes, it would be better. But of course, here we go again, if it was weather sealed it would probably be a little bigger. As you probably realize, I've been very happy with the Ricoh GR3x, and will be continuing using it for, I don't know, hopefully many years. I'm not very keen on upgrading this to the GR4 that may be coming sometime. I don't know if it is, but probably is sometimes coming. But it all depends on what are the features. Like I already said, that if it is a 28mm 40 megapixel camera, I might consider getting it, but I'm so happy with this. And I made a claim in that video about a year ago that it will change my photography, and it has changed my photography, and that is true. I can still stay behind those words, because it has made me so much more agile and better photographers, which is of course a contradicting something that I've said many times, that you don't need a new camera to be a better photographer. But to be honest, this has helped me a lot, and because of the reasons that I already told you in this video. And sometimes we just need the right tools to get our creativity to its max, which is, yeah, I know, a little bit contradicting what I've said before. But it doesn't mean that you will be a better photographer if you get this camera. You might be thinking of something else, or you might need something else than I do. You might want a bigger camera, just, you know, it'd be better in your hand, or you need an AVF or whatever that is. But I hope you find the best camera for you, whatever you're photographing. For me, it is Ricoh GR3x. And here is another video about the Ricoh GR3x. But hey, thanks for watching, and bye for now.